Hey guys, real quick, we're doing an update on the March, installing HGT Precision Sequential Gearbox, 5-speed, pre-loved beastie. Let's have a look at where we're up to with that. In the previous video we talked about the shim for the clutch slave cylinder, the fact that we probably won't need these shims. In fact, we need to go the other way because of the flywheel setup that we've had. So flywheel went on the lathe, which has since been cleaned. The lathe had a pile of swarf about that high. Put my dead crankshaft in there, clocked it all up with the DTI and attacked the flywheel to remove some material from the mounting face for the clutch to bring it back as much as practical. So we pulled 3 or 4 mils out of that. Don't be telling the guys at HGT, but I also attacked their lovely clutch slave cylinder here, their concentric slave. So as you can see, there's some material removed from here. So I'll pull that out a little bit so we can have a look. So I took some material off the end of the piston, measured everything up and made sure we still had decent guts in it so we weren't going to have any failures. Pulled some material out of that, pulled some material out of, you can see it shiny inside there, out of the stopper on the inside of the clutch slave cylinder, and also off the end of the piston that's inside there. I went as far as making sure that we didn't go past the dust seal. I wanted to keep that. I don't want any dramas with dirt and rubbish getting in there and contaminating it and causing the main seal in here to fail. So yeah, modified it. Not really advisable. It reduces the amount of travel on it before your piston will pop out of the end, but we've still got a significant amount of travel there. You can see it's 15-20 mils of travel there at the moment, which is far more than what you should need in any normal setup. How do a low profile release bearing, which would have been the perfect height for what I wanted, but I wanted to stay with our HGT branding and stuff because we've got a nice beautiful gearbox. They make this part, we want to use this part as well. Just this is pre-loved as well, by the way. I gave it a quick linish just to make sure it was dead flat on this side, just on the little linishing machine there. Some bolts I need to put away. Bench is actually tidy for once, apart from a couple of bits and pieces. So that was just a quick skim just to make sure it was right, just going for the nth degree of getting it right. There were numerous maths equations written across the bench here as we progressed further and further along, trimming things up, and started 15 millimeters, I think it was, too tall, our clutch stack, and by the time we got down to here somewhere after a couple of days of mucking around, we were at 5.5 millimeters too tall. So let's have a look at what I did to resolve that. Prototype shims. So we'll get one shim made, but in the meantime I didn't have any material thick enough. But in the meantime, just for the purpose of setting everything up, I've cut out these. There's a 3 millimeter and there's 2 millimeters. So I've got 7 millimeters worth of shim there, which gives us some free play for wear when the clutch fingers come out as the clutch plates wear. So if I get a plate that's 6 mil, I think, is standard material, and our mates at Allen's Profile Cutting, they have got some 6 potentially, so I can use that plus one of my shims there. Gives us 8. We should be away laughing. It's even shiny underneath. Look at that. And in case you didn't figure out, it's attached to the car. So the VQ35 HR bell housing now fits on the VQ35DE. I'm not going to show you exactly how we did that. Anybody who really needs to know will have figured out how that happens. But it's all starting to look really quite cool under here with our brand new turbochargers and all our vapor blasting done here by Allen's Profile Cutting, and our awesome HGT Precision Sequential gearbox. And you can actually see just how much shorter that is than what the original one was. Obviously there's the gear lever hole, which was on top of the gearbox, and there was quite a lot more gearbox beyond that. So quite some distance now from the tail shaft flange to the transfer box there. I will make up my mind during the week whether that transfer box is going to go from there to there. That is probably 12 kgs, I'm going to guess, 12, 13 kgs of material. If we move it back here, we shift our centre of gravity rearwards. That is approximately the middle of the car, give or take a little bit. So it effectively takes it off the front, but doesn't put it on the back. So it's not doubling the percentage change, if you know what I mean. And we've removed a significant amount of weight putting this in compared to the original factory gearbox. So that, amazingly, well, not amazingly, I guess it was just a bit of a fluke and a bit of careful design right back at the very start. That gearbox goes in there with no modifications to the trans tunnel at all. Obviously, we're going to have to do something with our mounts, our transmission cross-member mount. There's no sense in designing a big Y piece that hangs way back there and adds lots of torque on the mount and makes lots of flex. That's silly. We've got a hanger bearing. There is a bolt hole right here. That's where the hanger bearing for that rear prop shaft goes. So we'll be able to tag that onto our cross member that we're going to put across here. I'll get something, make it up out of billet, make it all look beautiful. Probably will take this billet tab off because that just screws on, and I'll make our mount just go straight onto the gearbox so we do away with all this. We won't need that piece of aluminium hanging off it. Couple of little areas that are going to need dealing with is the reverse cable. Normally that comes out that side and that fouled against the tunnel, and there's a bracket back here somewhere for the reverse cable as well, which also was fouling on the tunnel. Fortunately there's nothing on the inside of the car on the other side of that that's close, so I can put a speed bulge in there or whatever. So there we go. And I think I did show you earlier on our lovely Pulsar GTX 2860s. Can we see inside? Look at that. Look at the beautifulness in there. So 475 horsepower capable each in theory. That's 950 horsepower worth of turbos. That'll take 1,000 Newton meters. The clutch is 900 foot-pounds, I think. So I don't think we're going to be short of power. We'll see what this beastie makes on the standard camshafts that are in there with the better springs. That'll be the limiting factor. I'll get on with, don't mind the mess. I'll get on with putting these things here into the back of this thing here. That's what we're doing this week. All right. Cheers, bye.